Welcome to Argea's Rapid Video Orientations. This is where we go over some of the technologies that Argea works with and introduce you to their concepts and possibilities. Today's topic is interactive workflows and why it is important. In this video, we'll be covering the definition of a workflow, why workflows are important, and the advantages of using interactive workflows for your organization's projects. The definition of a workflow is the flow or progress of work done by a company, industry, department, or person, and at the rate at which such flow or progress takes place. Now, an interactive workflow is simply the use of technological resources to facilitate that same flow. This graphic here represents an example of a typical project workflow. Each process, whether it's a linear or cyclical process, takes place in a series of tasks or events. Here, as we move on to the second task, we are pushed into a secondary workflow that must be completed before we can move on to the third task. The advantage here is that we have a clear understanding of where we are in the process at all times, and we can clearly visualize how we got to where we are, what the next steps are, and how long it will take us to complete the overall workflow. If we dive deeper into a specific task, we can begin to see the details. For example, here we see that Frank has been allocated to task 3, which is to upload files for review in our main workflow. The tasks within that task are to gather the documents, compress the files, and upload them to the cloud for approval. Now this is where we can start using workflow technology to aid in the overall process. Here we can implement an automation into our process by telling the system to ask us if the files just uploaded are ready for review. If we say yes, then the system can move forward with the next steps itself by emailing a predetermined list of stakeholders, notifying them that the files are uploaded, and prompting them to complete the next task. This is something that without the automation, Frank would have to spend time doing himself. So here, the system can send out multiple emails to supervisors, project managers, coworkers, whomever we decide needs to know. Moving on, when Frank's supervisor receives the email, we can embed the link to the files that he needs to review. This particular automation can cut down on time spent searching for the files he needs to review and prevents the need for storing and later finding these documents on his own machine, which would have been done if Frank had simply sent the files in an email. Now the supervisor gets the notification, follows the link, and can tell the workflow that he either approves or rejects, and can add some feedback as well. This then initiates the next step in the overall workflow. If he rejects, we can tell the system return to task 3, where Frank will revise and re-upload. If he approves, then the system can move to task 4, which would be distributing the documents, publishing, or simply refining. This is just one simple example of how an interactive workflow can be implemented on a project. Now, if we look at the other side, what can happen if there are no standard workflows in place? Even if we don't define a workflow, each individual or group has one. It simply is not defined for others to observe. In this case, each of these individuals has their own personal workflow to complete the tasks that they know they are responsible for in their heads. However, they are still attempting to work towards the same goal of publishing the documents. Now Frank's coworker knows that her task 1 needs to be completed before Frank can move to his task 5, and her supervisor needs it for his task 7. The problem is that she doesn't know where they are in their workflows, or if they even have a defined workflow. This is the same for everybody that has tasks that rely on or feed other tasks. Without a defined flow, with everybody on the same page, projects can become bogged down with delays and inefficiencies quickly. To compound the issue, if new team members or groups try to enter the project midway through, the confusion level can make it very difficult to grasp project complexities. In short, lack of defined workflows can cause confusion among team members, high levels of inefficiencies, and even project failure. So in summary, workflows keep progress on track and in order. They help to eliminate confusion and increase efficiencies. Interactive workflows use developed technologies to facilitate defined workflow and to automate certain steps within it. This can decrease the time spent on the overall process, as well as contribute to quality control. And without defined workflows, consequences can be confusion of process, difficulty tracking progress of projects, time inefficiencies, and extreme difficulty when outside parties are attempting to enter the project. Thank you for watching this introduction to interactive workflows. For any additional information about implementing standardized or interactive workflows for your project, or any other Argia products and services, please contact Kevin at argia.org. Thanks again.